Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Vanucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
Looks good. Looks just as good.
Well, you know what? It is what it is. He's a smarter one. We all know that. So this is what you get.
Okay.
You get AC/DC and a drywall.
All right. Good Lord. Oh, man.
How are you?
Doing well.
Excellent.
How about you guys? So which one? Who's in Ontario? Who's in BC?
I'm Ontario. He's BC.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you're
I'm in Windsor.
You're in Windsor. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. My people.
Have you ever been?
Yeah. My sister.
Oh yeah, nice.
My sister did one of her degrees at U Windsor.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So I know the city. I know the city from its not as good days, and then it looks better these days. And then I had some friends at Windsor Salt for a while, so every now and then I pop out there. So yeah.
But I'd gone down there to do a Jameson tour.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a casino. And it was funny because we're looking across the river and thinking, oh, shit, that's really nice over there. We should go for a walk. And they're saying, no walk.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Look, it's beautiful over there. No, I don't go. After 6 o'clock, nobody walks. No walk.
Do you have a firearm license, or do you carry it? Otherwise, no walk.
Yeah, that's how it is, though. Yeah.
It wasn't a bad looking city. When we were there, I was probably there about maybe 10, 12 years ago. And there was a lot of, shuttered stores, obviously, because of the auto industry, et cetera.
Yeah.
But it was not to say it was more sad than anything.
Oh,
and then when we got to the hotel, people were so friendly. Everybody everybody was super friendly. But you kind of thought, geez, there's a chance because these people seem so good that there's a chance that this can get out of the mess it's in. But
no, honestly, Detroit's come a long way in the past. It's a lot different now. A lot of Canadians go over there for the baseball games, and it's a big the Lions games and everything. Yeah. So now it's like Detroit's a pretty good area now.
And our side too, like the Canadian side, you guys have.
Yeah, Windsor's developed.
You're doing okay.
Yeah, Windsor's developed a lot too.
That's awesome.
It's definitely not as pretty. Like you look from the Windsor side and you're like, that looks cool. And then you go to Detroit and then you look back over and you're like, why do I live there? But I
never saw the other side, so it looked okay for me.
Yeah. But no, Windsor's come a long way. A lot of it's a nice quiet town, but you have everything you need here in terms of like stores and retail outlets and whatnot. But everything's 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, which is really nice as well. And like Windsor's like a collection of little towns and whatnot. So it's pretty nice. And like I used to think, I want to live in Toronto, big city kind of vibes. And then now that I go there all the time, it's like I would never want to live here. I love kind of the peaceful Windsor area. Nice. And a lot of people are moving from Toronto and GTA down to Windsor. It's like a big retirement area now. And real estate's way cheaper. We were going to move our manufacturing plant to Toronto, but thank God we didn't.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So were you always in Windsor? Like, did you guys?
I was born in London, Ontario.
Okay.
And then we moved to Windsor when I was 5. So I've been here since that. So 19 years now. Yeah. But my parents were born. My mom was born in Iowa. So I'm second generation, or I believe, right? Yeah. Second generation. So my mom was born in Iowa and my dad was born in London. And then their parents were born in Lebanon. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So your family's been here for
for quite a while.
Generations now.
Yeah, and my grandparents, they all came over when they were super young. So it's we're pretty Canadianized and Americanized.
Hey, we all live here. We're all Canadianized.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least we get to hang on to our past too, which is kind of cool.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Not like this, sometimes across the water there they kind of amalgamate. At least we like to stay. We like to keep the old traditions with the new traditions. It's good.
We get to pick and choose some of the traditions.
That's what Canada's so good for, right?
Yeah.
You're right, Phil. You pick the best.
Listen, like Kenny and I are both foodies, so usually picking traditions means all the eating ones, right?
Well,
so
to me, it's all about food.
Definitely go. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Like I'm Chinese, right? But I have no idea what the Moon Festival is for.
Yeah,
I've heard all the tales, but it involves eating.
I'm down
Mid
for that.
Autumn Festival. No idea. It's like Thanksgiving. Let's eat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
those are
Around
great
it,
traditions to
it's
keep,
all
right?
good to celebrate. We should celebrate it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Windsor has a pretty diverse, as small as it is, has a pretty diverse food scene as well. Not as much Asian food as there should be, I feel like, but
Mhm.
everything else, and maybe not as much like African food, but there's quite a bit. A lot of Lebanese, a lot of pizza. We're
Mm.
actually considered like the pizza capital of Canada or something like that.
Really?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like everywhere you go, there's a pizza place here. Yeah, but there's a lot of good food. There's a lot of good food here. A lot of Italian, a lot of
Just want
Italian.
diversity, man. Just
Yeah.
want and you want good diversity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I love to see, I like to see, I like to see the nonas in the back or a
Yeah.
nonna.
Yeah.
I
Exactly. Yeah.
want someone who knows what the shit they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want no newfangled stuff. I want some old
Exactly.
school traditional stuff, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 There's some really good hole in the wall places here
I love that.
that are good
I
finds.
love that. We love
Maybe I'll
that.
get Phil to take me a ride down to Windsor next time we're there. It's
Oh,
not
you
that
can't.
close.
You can't survive the Rhine. You can't. I mean, he can't. He can't make it.
New York.
Like, so where? Yeah, but it's not the same thing, right? Like Windsor is still 4 hours, right? Like I took him out to Milton.
Oh,
which is-
that
or
was
Guelph,
because I just got off the plane and I was
like
hungry.
40 minutes, right?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
he complained all the way there. It was awful.
And it wasn't
right?
it wasn't 40 minutes. I just got off a plane. I'm hungry. I think we're gonna go eat because we're gonna go for dinner. 20,000
I
years.
think you should just fly into Windsor and I'll meet you there, and that would be just fine. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, Windsor. So the drive isn't even that bad. I would say like the drive from Toronto to London isn't bad at all. The drive from London to Windsor is like the most boring drive you'll ever take in your life. Like there's nothing to look at. It's just like a road and just fields, and there's some windmills.
Not even the surprises that you would get on the prairies, right? Because in the prairies you get these, I don't know what they're called, but the little dips in the road every now and then that surprise you.
No dips.
But the road between London and Windsor is
straight flat.
Straight up. Yeah,
and it's just there's nothing to look at.
And
Lots of
I'm from Vancouver, man. I don't the straight flat shit. Like I get to Alberta and I'm already starting to shake, right?
Well, and that stretch between Windsor and London is actually kind of dangerous in the winter, right? Like because people actually, because it is so monotonous, people actually get a little bit locked up, and then
and there's only 2 lanes.
And it's they get.
Oh, really? So it's like it's an old school highway. It's not even a freeway.
Yeah. So there's only 2 lanes, so you got trucks passing you in the left lane because they got to meet their time, and the people are speeding by. So it's dangerous area.
Yeah.
Okay, so next time we're in Toronto, I mean, you're coming up. I'm not going down.
All right.
No, you fly. You fly into Windsor. Don't make me go anywhere. So you fly into Windsor, and I'll meet you there.
Well, I'm in Toronto. all the time, so I'll probably be there when you're there. I actually just got back from Vancouver. I was there for I was there last weekend.
For what?
Yeah, last weekend. We won a prize with TELUS, so we were one of the grand prize winners for the TELUS Stand with Owners Grant. And
awesome.
So out of 12,000 applicants, we were chosen as one of the top 5. So we had a free, all-inclusive, paid-for VIP experience with TELUS Business, and they took us to the Whitecaps game. And
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
cool.
They're the sponsor of the Whitecaps now. So, so we went to the game. They got us a hotel, and we did dinner and all that stuff. And then they took us to the game, sat in their booth. We got to go to the pitch for warm-ups, and then when after the game was done, we went and kicked some balls around and stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
Cool.
Did you meet any of the players? Did you meet Vani?
We met. I got a signed jersey by the captain. I don't know soccer at all. And I met one player who was new to the team. He came to the suite, but I had no clue who he was. So I don't know. I got a picture with him. I got a picture with him. No. Yeah, but it was cool. It was a really cool experience. Yeah, I've never watched a soccer game before. The only thing I know about soccer is from Ted Lasso. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Great show, right?
Yeah. But I don't know anything else about it.
I did know what the pitch was, but it was so funny. So my mom, we get like an itinerary and everything. My mom is clueless, and she goes, so basically to win the TELUS grant, you had to tell your story, and they had like 5 questions. You had to answer all these questions. And so my mom, we get the itinerary, and it says, go to the meet in the lobby, walk to the soccer game, go to the pitch for warm-ups. And she thought we were pitching like the business. she's like, what is the pitch? Why do we have to pitch our business? And I was like, no.
Ma, relax.
That's a field, Mom.
Yeah, relax.
That's hilarious, actually. Yeah. That's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's cute.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a great time. I love Vancouver.
Love it.
It's a nice city.
Don't get to go in.
Let's do an intro because people should know who you are. So we've got Ameen Fadel on, and Ameen is, I guess, so Ameen runs Cedar Valley Selections and
Cedar Valley.
Cedar Valley.
Cedar Valley, yeah, we dropped the selection.
Straight up Cedar Valley.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited to have you on. Like, you've got a pretty interesting story, so we'll let you get into it.
Came highly recommended. Amanda Kenny said that you have to have him on the show. That's why we got you on the show, because Amanda said you had to. It's okay. That's fine. She says it. We're doing it.
Well, she's a rock star.
We're excited. A rock
star. Yeah. You've got that name up. So if you were listening to this and Amanda Kenny, and you're kind of going, who's Amanda Kenny? A small plug for Amanda Kenny, big plug for Amanda Kenny, small plug for our friends at Hearts and Cards. But there's a really great episode with her. She talks a ton about merchandising and what you got to do to win in store. Great episode, Amanda Kenny and Hearts and Cards. But anyway, so we've got Ameen on. Next 45 minutes is yours, sir.
Awesome.
We'd love to hear about Cedar Valley, how you guys got here. Anything else you want to tell us? You're clearly versed on being a Windsor ambassador. So if there's more Windsor stuff we need to know about, we'll let you kind of guide us. We'll definitely interrupt you with questions, but welcome.
Sounds like there's a family aspect in here. Sounds like
moms
in the game. Love when moms are in the game.
Yeah, right. Makes everything better.
Or worse sometimes.
Yeah.
God bless them. Can go both ways.
Yeah, it could. Thankfully, it's gone
thank God
the good way for me. So, but yeah, I'm the co-founder of Cedar Valley. We are a Canadian food manufacturer of authentic style pita chips made with 100% pure coconut oil and better for you ingredients. We manufacture everything ourselves locally here in our hometown of Windsor in Ontario. Just a little background on the story and how we kind of got started. So I'm 24 years old. I started the company back in grade 10 when I was 16 at the time. So 2015 in grade 10, I was sitting at my desk going through high school, and I always knew, I was trying to pick my I always had this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, I guess, where I would write down inventions that I had. I'd when I was young, I'd draw out architectural drawings for I had this really cool hoverboard that I wanted to do. I still remember, it would have been a great idea. But yeah, I used to just have this mindset where I knew I wanted to create something or build something. I thought, I want to be a CEO somewhere, have some big high level executive position. And I was trying to, pick my career throughout high school. One day I was an engineer, the next day I was a doctor, the next day it was, an architect. So, but I knew I had this mindset that I wanted to build something and be, be someone important, I guess I could say. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, so in grade 10, I was sitting at my desk in civics class, and there was an announcement for 30 students to each receive $3,000. The program at the time was called Student Ventures. And so the idea was you get $3,000 to start your own business. And I went home that day and I said, Mom, I want to, start a business. They're going to give me $3,000. I got to do something. And so we threw around some ideas, none of which were very good. Couldn't really think of anything. The next day, I talked to my guidance counselor who I grew up with. I knew her, I played hockey with her son my entire life. And I was reminded of an idea where, a family friend recommended that we bottle my mom's salad dressing recipe for fattoush dressing. And so fattoush dressing, if you're not familiar, and for the listeners who aren't familiar, fattoush is a Middle Eastern salad, which consists of the vegetables, the special dressing, which is olive oil, lemon juice, sumac based, and you crunch up pita chips, mix them in kind of like a crouton. So in Canada, I thought it was a crazy idea at first. We kind of just laughed at it. But my mom was super, popular for making the salad, and everyone knew, and everyone loved her fattoush dressing in general. And so I took a look at the market and I said, you know what, there's actually no bottled fattoush dressing in Canada. There was 2 or 3 in the States, but nowhere in Canada could you buy it. The only way to get a fattoush salad was to go to a restaurant, a Lebanese restaurant, shawarma place, and order a salad. And so I said, you know what, we'll try it out and see what happens. I had no vision for the company, no goals, no idea of where I was going to start and where I was going to end up. And so through this course, they gave us 5 classes on how to start a business, the basics of it, and basically took us through, registering your business, coming up with a name, a business plan, et cetera, et cetera. Looking back at the business plan now, it's hilarious. And so I partnered with my mom. I said, you know what, I need your recipe because I don't know how to make this. So help me with the recipe. I'll do the rest of it and sell it and commercialize it. And so, it took us 6 months to come up with a recipe because she didn't measure anything. It was just, by hand. So we had to actually measure and come up with a formula and put it in a bottle so that it would, be okay on the shelf. And so we did a lot of testing with family and friends, a lot of teachers at my high school. And for the first 2 years, it was really just selling to family, friends. I'd keep it in my locker at the school, and teachers would come by and hand me a $5 bill. I'd hand them a bottle of salad dressing. So it could have been a lot worse.
I've seen a lot of other things go through lockers.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And so we were just doing that, and really we had, again, no goals or vision. And then someone's like, I mean, you need to do a farmer's market. And I was like, what's a farmer's market? On grade 12 at the time. I'm like, what's a farmer's market? And so we did our very first farmer's market in May of 2017, and we were making it in the kitchen at the time, just the salad dressing. And we were rolling on the labels the night before, and we had a cap with a seal on it. We would use a hair dryer to make the seal tight and shrink it around the bottle. And we sold 81 bottles the first day, and we were like, wow, this is crazy. The feedback was amazing. And my mom was handing out pita chips just like as a freebie. We had like Dollarama baggies with zip ties on them, and she was like, here, you have to have some chips with your salad. And again, it was just how my mom was making it at home. And everyone was like, can we buy these pita chips? Like, they're so good. And I was like, sure, why not? Yeah, we'll sell these too. So then I got some packaging done up for the pita chips and started selling those as well. So all throughout 2017, we were just doing farmers market after farmers market, as many events as we could in the Windsor area. And we just had the fattoush dressing and the pita chips. And we just kind of saw the feedback from consumers, and everyone was like thanking us for finally making this product, because most people don't have sumac in their kitchen. Most people don't know how to make fattoush dressing. Yeah. So yeah, it was really positive feedback. I went to my local store next to my high school, and it was my first store ever. And I said, I have these 2 products. Would you, be interested in carrying them? And he's like, sure, I'll try them out. Why not? Today, he still has the products, and it's the only store that I personally delivered to. But that was our first store, and then it kind of started to snowball from there. We went from our kitchen, and we said, okay, we can't really make it out of here anymore if we're selling to stores, so we got to rent a commercial kitchen and do it the proper way. So we rented a friend's restaurant until we ended up getting our own 1,000 square foot facility here in Windsor. And we said, okay, we need to take a little chance on this and need to build our own commercial kitchen. So we rented something in 2018. In January of 2018, and then I walked into my local Sobeys and said, hey, we're just around the corner and I have this fattoush dressing and pita chips. Would you be interested in carrying them? And we're in this, about 20 local stores right now, or maybe 10 local stores right now, and would love to have Sobeys on board. And the manager was like, sure, I'll take 10 cases of each. And I was like, holding a straight face, because I was like, that was the biggest order we ever received. I was like, I can't even make that in one day. And so I was just holding a straight face. I'm like, yep, we'll get it to you tomorrow. And so I ran back to the mom. Yeah, exactly. We ran back yelling at my mom, like, oh my God, we just got to order for 10 cases of each. And she was like freaking out. She's like, oh, I don't know how we're going to get that all done. And then anyways, we made it happen and got it to the store the next day. And then he told the other local Windsor store about us. And that Sobeys told the London stores about us, and then those Sobeys, because they all talk to each other, all those managers.
Right.
And then corporate called us, and their local development manager was like, hey, we have stores inquiring about your products. Would love to have you a part of the local program. And we were just blown away, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And we said, sure, we'd love to take part. And they opened us to about 50 stores, I believe, in Ontario. But you still have to go out into each of these stores and sell them on it. The managers don't have to take the product.
Right.
And yeah, it was a very big deal for us. And again, just from there, it started to snowball, and stores were really interested, and we were demoing and sampling all the time. And they played a really big role, in our success and in our development, because once we launched with Sobeys, we still had one flavor, one SKU of each. and they were like, you need to expand your offering and bring more flavors to market. It just helps sales in general. And we're like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And so we came up with new flavors and provided them to Sobeys. And again, just kind of really took off from there. And we were looking for co-packers for this product for the longest time. So we never intended to make the products ourselves. So the salad dressings finally found a co-packer for those in 2020, January of 2020. And then in July of 2020, we couldn't find anyone for the pita chips. We went across North America, went to about 25 different manufacturers. No one would make it with our quality, with our products, or ingredients, sorry. Or they just want to do it their way. And we're like, no, this is, we need to keep the product integrity and quality the same as how we make it, just like at home.
Right.
And so no one would do it for us. And we said, we think this is going to be a really good product. And so we decided to lease a 5,000 square foot facility here in Windsor, which I'm currently in, and just take a chance on it. And we walked in, we didn't know what we were going to do with all the space, but today we're bursting at the seams. So it's been pretty great to see the growth of the business, but yeah, it's really quite the journey, and not really what I expected.
Was your family involved in business? Like, it doesn't sound like what was your mom doing?
Yeah.
Before, this seems really strange. You guys just walked in.
Yeah. So my mom, she was obviously, I was a high school student, so I knew nothing. My mom, she was just a fitness instructor, personal trainer, and therapist. So she had her own therapy business, but it was more so just like one-on-one with clients. Like it wasn't like a
service business, not a CPG business.
Exactly. Yeah. So she was doing that, and she was one of the top 5 instructors for Good Life Fitness. And so she was kind of doing that just her whole life, and so yeah, we didn't really know anything about running a business or starting a business or growing a business. My dad has been in manufacturing his entire life, so he's managed manufacturing plants all in the aluminum sector, and deals a lot with auto manufacturers. So he kind of has that managerial experience where he's kind of grown companies and led companies, but really it's been he still has his full-time job. So if he was on the podcast, he'd say his roles are what's his favorite? It's his favorite joke. He goes, my roles are ceramic engineer, so when the dishes need to be washed, I wash the dishes, and maintenance engineer, so when the toilet gets clogged, he fixes the toilet.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. So he tells that to everyone and anyone. But yeah, it's really been me and my mom who've been in it full time. So I think in 2019 I dropped out of 2019 I dropped out of university. I just went for a year, and decided I'm just going to put my full time and effort into the business instead. And my mom kind of joined me with that. So we've been full time ever since. And it's really been us two that have kind of been leading the growth and in it every day. But my dad's there as kind of an advisor when we need. And he was our lead investor, so that $3,000 that I got went quick. So he definitely put in some extra cash to get to fund the business. But yeah, it's been really fun to work with family, and now we have about it's still me and my mom as a management team, but we have about 14 production employees.
Wow.
In our plant, who make the product every day. And yeah, it's been quite the journey, but definitely an interesting kind of ride as we try and navigate this world and figure it all out. Made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I think we've kind of gotten ourselves to a really good place where we're ready to scale and just grow like crazy.
That's awesome though, but as you've learned,
mm-hmm.
what seems from the outside to be very simple, and really should be, retail and CPG is a shit show.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy.
But you don't appreciate it until that's why I'm really amazed that with really no experience, and you're younger than my kids.
Oh yeah.
Right. Which doesn't say much about my age, but more. But that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like seriously, that's because it's not a, I don't know, Phil would probably say the same. It's not an industry you just walk into and you start hitting home runs. It's the shits.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got a lot of rules. We've got a lot of short-term acronyms, and there's a lot of
there's a lot of hidden costs.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot. You kind of have to learn along the way.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
Thank you. And starting.
Wow. So some of the stuff, you go from some of it is you with the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Because you kind of go, I got one SKU, it's not absurd that you come to me and say, I want 2 SKUs or whatever. But did you, when you started to get into this for real, did you think it would be what it is now? Like, did you kind of have that vision, or it was still kind of like, because lots of people go into this and go, look, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm just going to keep chasing it.
And it's moment by moment, right?
Yeah. When we started, again, no plan, no idea what it could be.
Right.
I didn't even know how many grocery stores there were in Canada. I knew there was like 5 in Windsor. And once we got Sobeys, then it was like, it was a really big deal. I was like, Sobeys wants this. And then I started researching. I was like, oh my God, we're going to have they got a lot of stores. And that was in 2018. I was like, oh my God, we're going to have every store in Canada by next year. And that, little did I know, it's a very long process to get all these stores on board.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I came to the realization it's hockey stick growth, right? It's very slow growth.
Yeah.
The first 5 years, and then it kind of just shoots up, which thankfully we're experiencing now. But the first 5 years are grind. But yeah, one thing is like, because of my age, I guess, I don't know if it's my personality or my age, but I've never been afraid to like ask people who have been in the position, who are a lot older than me, kind of ask them for their experiences and recommendations and advice. Like I talk to everyone that I meet, and I've had a lot of advisors along the way, a lot of mentors along the way, and I'm not afraid to connect with people and ask them for their advice and their help. And a lot of people are willing to give back and help out, because they're always saying that they never had anyone to either help them in their position, so they want to give back, or they did have someone to help out, so they're kind of returning the favor to the younger generation. So I've had a lot of people who have helped me get to where I am today, but definitely starts with just asking. And I always tell people, just ask questions and don't be afraid to network, and it's a really key part of business in general. Relationships are going to get you a lot farther than anything else, I find. And so and then kudos to like my local business center here in Windsor, and all the community here, because they've helped me a lot too. And they've been at the beginning, they were very instrumental to giving me resources and access to mentors and funding to really grow the business. So Windsor has a really, really strong and great community, and they want to see the area grow, and the business center here is amazing. So now they're having me come back.
What services will they provide? And the reason I'm asking that, it's not just because I think what people your age, our age, don't do well. Like I think you're a pretty remarkable young man already, in the sense that you ask questions. You don't assume and it doesn't appear that you give a shit about being wrong, as long as you can learn something.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have that doesn't float in a lot of people's boats.
Yeah.
It makes business a lot tougher. But in terms, let's give some accolades to Windsor, because what I want to also do is, because I think for our listeners, it may incent them to search their community, because these programs may exist in a trillion communities. So what did you get out of it? Like, what did you do? Did you go in downtown and say, knock on City Hall's door and say, hey, help me? Or
well, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people, that's the first thing I tell people too, is when they're looking to start a business, I say, where are you from? Go talk to your local business center, because all these, every city has a small business center where they're funded by the government. They're government employees. They want to see growth in the area. They want to see you, have a successful business in the end. So I don't really remember how we got. Well, actually, the program that I was doing in high school, the Student Ventures program, was funded through the Small Business Center. So that's directly how I started. I didn't know it at the time, but they ran that entire program, and so I've been connected with them from the start. And so they gave me that $3,000, and they took me through a course on how to start a business. And then from there, you always have an open line of communication to them, where you can ask them for, hey, I need some expertise in this area. I need some resources for this. And they'll provide you with those contacts or materials that you need. As well, they have different programs where they have, a program that now it's called Starter Company, where you can get $5,000 for writing a business plan, and they help you write that business plan. They give you the guidelines and say, you need to work on this area. I need to, build this up a little more, kind of get more in depth with your market research. So they're helping you with those and advising you on those kind of key materials to really start you off. And then they have a program actually specifically for food entrepreneurs in CPG. It's called Foodpreneur. Again, I think you get like $5,000, and they take you on a course with an expert in CPG, all about food manufacturing and growing in retail, which was really cool too. So that helped us out. I'm not sure if that's like Windsor local thing or if that's a Canadian thing, but Foodpreneur was a really good program as well. And again, they would bring experts from across Canada to have seminars specifically on CPG and growing in the area, and they take you through. Okay, there's a lot of hanging costs because we thought, okay, we're going to make this product and sell it to Sobeys directly for $7, and then we realized, oh, you have to have a broker. Oh, you have to have a distributor. Oh, you have to have this guy and this guy and this guy.
Surprise.
And then the programs, and then program fees. Program fees for if you want to go to the Sobeys office, you gotta give them an MCB for something, right? Like you just have to pay for everything that you
exactly.
So Sobeys, sorry, that's bad. They don't actually do that, but I just mean in generally, there's fees.
But that's general retail. Sobeys knows it too. Don't worry about it. You're not telling anything new.
Yeah, you're not saying anything.
That's retail in Canada in general.
To be clear, Sobeys, Ameen has said nothing bad about you guys.
Yes, I love Sobeys. They're an integral part of my growth, my journey. But yeah, so kind of just again learning through them, and because of my age, I think people may have been helping me out, because they want to see a young guy succeed. So maybe they gave me more knowledge than they would with a typical person. But a lot of people really just have offered me help. And again, just going to networking events and researching, food shows and whatnot. I went to a tech show in 2019. I don't know why I was there, but I had a booth. I think I was with like the small business center here. And there was 2 other, CPG contacts there. And I was like, just looking for food products the whole time. And I found these 2 guys and we connected really well. And then they were more so along in their journey. So they helped me out. And again, we just stayed in contact. And it was just, again, big networking and talking to other people who are in it and have experienced it and trying to get an understanding of what's actually involved in running a CPG business. So yeah, thankfully I had some really good contacts and a lot of people willing to help me out. And a lot of people, I don't know, we don't try and burn any bridges. We just try and keep things very open-ended and build relationships just in general.
You are a smart young man.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Phil. I was going to say the same thing. You for a young man, you talk.
You know what? Just drop the young. You're just a smart man.
Yeah, like,
really. Like I don't. Like sometimes that comes out like of something disrespectful, but the truth is,
no.
Like
the fact is, you're young. I mean, you can't change that. That's what you are.
But you've jumped into a complicated industry and
seriously,
and really made a go of it, which is.
I mean, I've seen people in this industry for 30 years who still haven't figured it out as clearly as you.
Yeah, and I think one thing, like we've worked again super hard to get to where we are, and we've put a lot of sweat equity into it. Like we used to. Make everything ourselves, and then when we couldn't grow in our 1,000 square foot facility, we were driving from Windsor to Cobourne.
Wow!
So there's a government facility there. It's a manufacturing facility that you can rent out and use their equipment and their staff to make your products. And so we were driving 5 hours. We'd do an 8-hour shift and then drive 5 hours home. So we put a lot of time and sweat equity into this and trying to grow it. And I think we're of the understanding. We see a lot of, not to like disrespect any small businesses, but we see a lot of startups that are like expect a lot of people to do a lot of stuff for them. But we've always had the mindset we're like, if we're going to do it, we have to grow this business ourselves. We can't rely on, everyone else to kind of do all the work for us. But it seems like there's a lot of small businesses that expect, your distributor and your broker and everyone that's helping you out to do, all the legwork for you. And so we've kind of had the mindset where it's like, okay, we really got to put a lot into this and build it, and if we're going to do that, we got to make sure we're doing it right, and just access as many programs and tools and intelligent minds that we can. And so LinkedIn's been a really big part of it too, where like I've tried to grow my network on LinkedIn. I've met a lot of amazing individuals there as well, and kind of just connected again with like-minded people who are in the industry and very growth oriented, who just want to share. And I think one of the coolest things about CPG specifically is you walk into a grocery store, there's 40,000 products on average, right? But really you're directly competing with 2 or 3 of those, maybe. For me it's 2 or 3, whereas maybe drinks are like 100 or whatever. But the thing is, like, me talking to a cold brew brand, we have all the same problems, but we're not competition, so we can help each other out. And I think that's the coolest thing about CPG is that so many people experience all the same problems, but you're not direct competition, so you can share all these tips and tricks and contacts and resources with each other without like giving all your secrets away kind of thing, where maybe like a tech industry would be a lot different, where you can't really give another tech company all your advice and help and resources, because they'll just
it's also a different industry. The first guy out sort of wins, and the longer you hold stuff, you win. But in our industry, like let's say you're in the category that you're in, there wasn't a lot of players. That's sometimes not the best thing either, eh?
Yeah.
Like it's nice to have some competitors on the shelf beside you, because the pie's obviously fairly large. You can all have a piece of it, but you can help each other out, because the more competition that you have, that means more people are in this category, more people looking at it, more consumers looking at it. There's really no negative per se. You don't have to give recipes away.
But that's true. That's very true. Yeah, but I just think that's the coolest part about CPG is everyone's willing to help each other out.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. That's what it should be.
Most of CPG is willing to.
Yeah, most.
Stay small.
I would say like there's kind of like
is like tech.
Yeah. You're in the subgrouping that is very willing to help out, but there is when we're big, we can be jerks too, right?
For sure,
so, and then so there are lots of those moments, but certainly what we've seen out of the groups that we, there's a reason that Kenny and I cycle in some of these groups, right? Like the BC Food and Bev folks, the Canadian Health Food Association. These guys are everyone's just
they're awesome.
They're willing to talk, right? It doesn't matter. We all get that the market's big enough, right? There's a lot of room, right? So
plus, it's nice when you see other people doing well. Again, we're not talking. Forget the Proctors and the Unilevers of the world. That's a whole different world. They can do whatever they want. But in the smaller sizes, it's kind of cool to watch categories grow, and it's kind of cool to watch. I don't know. It's a cool industry. People are hitting it out of the park at all ages. And you're thinking, this is pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, I feel like we're seeing a lot of young entrepreneurs, to be honest, come up in this space now too, which is really great.
Which is great
because it's they're bringing really cool, innovative ideas to the market, and a new style of running business, right? So, it's cool. It's an industry for everyone, for sure.
I have a question, because you're when you started this thing, you're a teenager. Were your parents kind of prepared for the whirlwind that you unleashed on the family, and then how do they feel like, because clearly like your mom's along for the ride now. So is your dad, right? Your dad's your dad's got a specialized role, right? But were they kind of, because it's different, right? Like when you're a young entrepreneur, like if you started this at 24, you're kind of like, look, I'm my own person. I need some help. I'm going to go, if I got to live it, because we hear this, right? Like I got to live out of my car. I got to deliver with the air conditioning, or, the windows open in the winter. I'll do things like that. But for you at 16, it's, it's mom and dad. Like, what? You're doing what now? Like,
no, the thing is, like, my parents, like, I'm so thankful. I have like the most supportive parents in the world. And the best part was that, like, my dad, like, even though he gave me the money to, like start, like he's, funded the beginning of the business. After that, 3,000 went pretty quick, and those smaller grants went. He still allowed me to like actually run the company, and like at that time he was like, okay, just kind of, here's your freedom. He's not being like dad, where he's like, okay, you need to do this, this is how we're gonna think. So he had, even though he was supporting me financially, he was still allowing me to actually, be my own,
that's a big deal.
Founder. Yeah. And he wasn't trying to be like, he wasn't taking that dad role where it's like, okay, I'm trying to manage you in a way, right? He was like okay with letting me, like, me being my own person and failing and succeeding. He was, supportive from the very beginning. And my mom, her dad was very entrepreneurial. He had 12 restaurants when they were growing up, and he started a printing business, which her brother now runs. But kind of, she's been exposed to that whole entrepreneurial life, where she was, helping in the kitchen when she was 5, 6, 7 years old, as her dad ran those restaurants. But so she was, again, definitely supportive of it, and she loved it. And so they kind of gave me, the free rein to really start the company and build it up, and they were just there to really support me. My mom didn't really intend to get in it full time, but kind of pulled her in, and so she's my co-founder. And so another really good thing was like, for me, I didn't have to, having a co-founder is a really big deal. I would never, it would be very hard to do this alone, I feel. And, we have really specific roles and really different roles, and we complement each other really well. So my mom, how we kind of describe it is I take care of everything outside the package. She takes care of everything inside the package. So since the beginning, she's been making the products always, and she manages the production. And whenever we get orders, she makes sure that's, done to the proper quality. The health, food safety standards, everything's just perfect once it leaves the door. I'm more so business development, marketing, finance, sales, general high-level operations. So really this production facility she runs, I'm more so kind of business development and trying to get more sales and more retailers. Yeah, exactly. So
that's awesome.
It's been really good to have her on board, and she's been incremental and really helped grow the company, and I don't know if I can manage both by myself. Definitely as a 16-year-old, I definitely couldn't make the product because I don't have the recipes or cooking skills to do any of that. But yeah, I know a lot of people, commend me for my age and starting at 16, but my mom, when we started this, she was 54. So, she's not a lot of people start a business at 54 either. So
no,
it's a whole different skill too, right? Like it's totally one thing to make something at home.
Yeah.
Right. Or to make something for friends and family, and then to make a jump, like you've got stuff in bottles, right? Like you've got to figure out preservatives or no preservatives, how long it lasts, like all the food things that come with
how to move it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just moving glass is different than moving the packages.
Bottling to
all of it.
Making it shelf stable to then the, like the
I think
and everything else. It's
and that's why, when I said like, we're going to get every store in Canada tomorrow, that's why it takes a long time to figure all these things out. Like that's why the first 5 years was really just grinding and testing and figuring things out and refining the product, refining the process, learning all these, skills and really setting a good baseline for your business so that you can just, when the time is right, you can just scale and grow. Obviously there's problems. There's always gonna be problems and fires that you got to put out, but really just setting a strong base and foundation for the company. And that first part of the journey is really, crucial to having a successful business. And we want to do it in a way where, we're not losing money and raising money every 5 seconds. So we're trying to, build a sustainable business and, a good family business. So, thankfully we're profitable now. We weren't the first 5 years, but we're profitable in the CPG space, which a lot of businesses aren't, a lot of brands aren't. So we're super proud of that.
Was pretty impressive. Like seriously, it's a tough grind. I don't think people really appreciate it.
Yeah, no. And building a manufacturing facility is, the craziest part of it. We never wanted to do it, but it ended up being the best decision we ever made. And it just takes up so much time and energy, and we had to be really creative to find capital. So we've partnered with the Canadian government, Ontario government. We've gotten a lot of resources and funding from them in order to grow our facility. And being in Windsor, it's a really good, southwestern Ontario is a really key kind of growth area for the federal government. So they want to see more manufacturing here in this area. And so it was really
you had it for so many years, just different industries, right? It needs to be supported because, I mean, you have people there that are more than capable of factory work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, and Windsor's known for auto, the auto industry and manufacturing and tool and die. That's all tool and die. There's not a lot of food manufacturing here. There's a couple companies. And so, and we're really proud to build a food manufacturing facility here because we're showing that a small business can do it in Windsor. You don't have to be a giant, tomato plant or whatnot to have a food processing, facility here. But so now we have, we're seeing some other up and coming brands here in Windsor that, are building their own facilities out. And it's really good to see because my mom mentors some of the female entrepreneurs in the area. And then I'm more so kind of mentoring the younger people who are starting their businesses.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How,
sorry, go ahead, Phil.
I'm sorry. I'm just curious, like, the leap sometimes is, the leap is sometimes big as like that first moment when you're not making the product.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
So because the salad dressings are outsourced, right? So we went to so many manufacturers and one piece of advice for anyone looking to start a food business is we would talk to one manufacturer for 4 or 5 months, and then it'd fall through, and then we talk to another co-packer, 4 or 5 months, and it'd fall through, and we talked to so many, and we'd start the process over and over and over again. So if you're going to talk to co-manufacturers, make sure you're talking to like 5 or 6 at one time and trying to get the right partner on board. It took us a long time to find the right manufacturer. Thankfully we did. And then, they made some changes internally, and then we had to leave because it just wasn't, everything wasn't working out afterwards. But it's been a nightmare trying to find a good co-packer for the product. But when we made it the first time, it was really good to work with them. They, helped us, and we were there for the actual production of the product. So we had to make some tweaks as you scale the recipe from making it in a 30-liter blender to a 1,000-liter, vat. We had to make some tweaks on the spot, but they were really good to work with, and it was just a big relief, seeing oh my god, this is actually being made on a big scale, and we're not hand filling the bottles anymore. They're being put through the machines to be filled, and it was pretty surreal to see that come to fruition and finally get someone to make the product for us. And that allowed us to go from we were in 30 stores at the time, and by the end of that year we were in 300 stores with the salad dressings.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it was a very big jump. Thankfully we got a really good national distributor on board. At the same time, it kind of everything lined up perfectly. So it was really awesome that that all happened. But it was scary, but it was also a big relief for us to kind of have someone manage that and take that on. But again, the pita chips, we didn't want to do it ourselves, but it turned out to be the best decision we ever made. And if I was to start another food company, I would start manufacturing myself.
Right.
We
gotta learn that, right?
It's funny, right?
You gotta learn that.
Yeah, we've heard that from a bunch of folks,
Yeah.
like not other pita chips, but like all sorts of those sort of things, right? Like we've heard that. I think in the 6 years that we've kind of been around now, anyone who does kind of either potato chips or pita chips or anything, salsa.
Yeah.
Not salsa, the chips that go with the salsa.
Oh, tortilla chips. Yeah.
Tortilla chips, sorry, right? Like everyone kind of says the same thing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I think the general problem though is, and I think you probably see it too now, and it's good that you're helping potentially a lot of the students, like when you were, it's not that long ago, but like 6-8 years ago when you were in that position, is that I don't think what people realize is we don't do a lot, we don't do enough manufacturing and processing in this country in general.
No.
Specifically in food.
Yeah.
We really don't. And to your point, like to find anybody, like you can find a team that can do the salad dressing, and MOQs are $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
What can I do with $1 million? Well, I need 50 cases. I don't need 1 million bottles.
Exactly.
Like, what do you want me to do? So I think it's really important. I think it's good that we need more of it.
Yeah.
Period.
Sure,
like
definitely.
we just need to do more. If we want to protect our food sources and make sure that we always have things moving, we need to produce more.
Yeah.
We need to process more.
And I know there's a lot of businesses that even if they can meet those MOQs, they still have to fight for line time, and they have to,
it's a battle.
Yeah, it's just tough to get, your co-packer actually care about you when they have, a few major accounts that are really funding the majority of their business.
Exactly.
And taking a lot of that time. So, definitely, I love, it's a slower build to do manufacturing. You don't make as much money at the start, right? Our labor, at the start, we were doing everything manually, and then we get we fix one bottleneck at a time. So we'd get one piece of equipment, then the next piece of equipment, then the next piece of equipment, because we didn't have the money to buy it all at one time. And so, there's still bottlenecks in the facility that we're, bringing new equipment in to replace and fix and add to our process so that we can get our labor costs down so we can be more profitable.
Right.
And really grow and scale, because we can't make, we're capped out at our capacity right now. So a new piece of equipment we have coming in will allow us to triple that. It's a slower build, but definitely, you control the quality of your product. You control, you can run every single day if you have to. You can, you can work on private label business. You can bring in private label partners that can really help, fund your operations as well. And it's just, that control of the product, from start to finish in your supply chain is just a whole different ballgame, and it's a big advantage for us.
Pretty impressive, buddy boy. Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Really love it.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
How many stores are you in now? Just so because we're gonna get close to wrapping up.
Yeah.
Across the country now.
So we're across the country, 1,300 stores.
Wow.
Yeah, from coast to coast in every province. Still a lot that we need to bring on board, but still a lot of opportunity out there. But yeah.
Looking south across the water there?
No, I don't want to go into the States yet. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of brands make too early. There's a lot that we can still do in Canada. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot that we can still do in Canada. And we just want to be, we want to have our facility very, very efficient, so that when we do go into the States, we do it properly and we do it right. I kind of think of Canada as a test market. Obviously, most of the opportunity is in the States. So we just really want to, figure out all the kinks in our manufacturing facility first. We're actually moving to a 10,000 square foot facility in a few months,
nice.
doubling our size. So
nice.
Again, we just want to get our process and equipment in place before we can go to the States, and we need some more cash on hand to do so. So we just want to do it right, and we want to do it sustainably, where we can keep the company still family owned, and not bring a million investors on board, and yes,
very impressive.
Yeah, so our major customers right now are like Sobeys, Loblaws, Whole Foods, Costco, and a lot of the small to medium-sized independents and smaller health food chains.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
And we're just starting to make our entry into the discount market too. Because it's growing like crazy, and we want our brand everywhere. So shoppers are shopping places that they didn't used to before. And I don't see a problem with having my product.
Big, buddy boy.
I don't see a problem with having my product everywhere. If certain people get upset about it, then they can take take less margin and beat that price. So
you can also make
sure you have an everyday product, right? You have a product everybody should be eating every day. So
exactly,
whatever.
Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If folks want to find you, what's the best place to kind of reach you?
Best place to reach me is LinkedIn. So connect with me on LinkedIn, Ameen Fadel. I think that's my thing. Connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can follow Cedar Valley's Instagram account, Cedar Valley Inc. That's pretty much the best way to reach me, or just go to our website, cedarvalleyselections.ca, and you can reach out there and definitely connect with me. Happy to, connect with folks and grow my network and give back if I can, because a lot of people help me out along the way. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're a treat to talk to.
Yeah, pleasure. I appreciate it.
Pleasure all ours, man.
Have a great day, and
Thank
then
you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Take care. Thanks very much. Phil, stick around. You have a nice day, young man.
Well, take care, guys. Bye.
Look out.
Take care.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That guy's put
Thank you,
together.
Amanda.
He is put together.
Yeah.
I like
Thank you, Amanda, for that recommendation, because that was a very nice. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, Amanda Kenny. Amanda Kenny. I said at the beginning of this show, she's amazing, and she's amazing.
No, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. Very interesting. Love the fact that he's doing a lot. I mean, I love the community play too. I mean, Windsor needed the help. I mean, they really struggled with the amount of manufacturing they lost with the auto. So it's nice to see the region doing better. Young people like that getting more involved, keep pushing it. It gives you that incentive to. I think the community rallies then, right? And then if you're still doing it in the schools, you got another new batch coming through. Cool that his mom started at a different age, a new business. The whole thing was really cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I
like that.
Yeah, pretty inspiring.
Yeah. No, yeah, really.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, everybody.